Good afternoon, north of 44 degrees. I was going to shoot this morning, but it was gray and windy and pretty darn chilly, so I figured I'd wait till the afternoon and see if things cleaned up. And well, they kind of did. We got rid of 2 of the 3. Wind is still here. We've been working on 2 projects today. First one was dehumidifiers. Got those installed in the basement. And the second one was ceiling fans. So we'll head inside and take a look at both of those. When you pour concrete, there's a lot of moisture that's got to come out of that stuff as it cures, and there's really no place for it to go. It's not going to go out through the walls because they're buried and adding more moisture. We're trying to add more moisture to it. Not going to go down. I've got a heavy vapor, a stego wrap vapor barrier, 15 mil underneath, so all that moisture's got to come up through the house to dissipate, and it's been running about 80% down there. Concrete curing takes about a month per inch to cure, and I know the walls are 6 inches thick, and the floor is probably at least 6 inches thick too. So we've had just a ton of moisture down there. 80% humidity's kind of been the norm. So let's install a couple dehumidifiers and see if we can improve things. The dehumidifier that we went with is a Frigidaire model FFAD6023W1, and no particular reason, not sponsored, but I did go with a larger size. I think this one's rated for 6,000 square feet. And we did decide to go with 2 dehumidifiers, one on either end of the house, just because the crawl space is fairly large, and the water table is fairly high. So instead of going with one big one that would have been able to do the whole thing, knowing that I had to get it in through the crawl space door, we went with 2 smaller units. These will drain directly into the sump. So let's cut into this thing and see what we've got. It is a bit of a beast. Installation instructions, I'm sure I'll read those. Not. On the back side, the plug is rated for 15 amps. You've got a little bit of a cord carrier here. And then one of probably the most important thing, and I'll have to get a couple hose ends, but we can go for a hose directly from the tank into the sump. So I'll never have to worry about physically going down and emptying these. I will have to periodically go down and clean this filter because it will be a little bit dusty down there to begin with. This does have a little bit of a screen to it, and then your condenser cord here. Pretty straightforward. If you're not going to use the drain into the sump feature, there is, like I said, a 60-quart tank. All right, let's move them downstairs. so you can see here's the outlet for the sump pump, and you see these little tabs here that tells me that this is a 20 amp circuit. So we've got a little bit bigger circuit on this one so that we can take the sump pump, which means I'll have plenty of power to run the dehumidifier as well. The other thing, if you would, tell me how cheesy you think it is with the whole door opening sequence. Because everybody knows I was just down here setting up the camera and turned the lights off and closed the door back up. So on a scale of 1 to 10, is that 10 like super cheesy and unnecessary, or does it kind of help tell the story? All right, so first power. We don't need a turbo fan. We will turn on auto. And you can see the humidity in the crawl space. At least this monitor number continues to rise. So we'll check the sensor upstairs. And then we'll monitor over the next couple days and see how well this thing does. I don't have the hose hooked up yet. I have to run back into town and grab those bits and parts. Let me grab the other dehumidifier and get that one installed. And now if these become too noisy, I'll just pull some of the insulation that I have from the barn project and insulate the floor area around where this dehumidifier is sitting. So let me go grab that other unit. Unit 2. Let's do the same. Go turbo off. Go auto. I'll leave that set at 40. All right, this one looks like pretty steady at 68% humidity. Crazy high. How about this? I'll give you double cheese. I'll pretend like I'm leaving and going out when we both know that as soon as I close this up, I'm going to have to open it up again and come back in and get my flashlight and my camera. So double cheese today. Here are the starting values. I picked up this little temperature and humidistat off of Amazon. Obviously not sponsored, but it does give me 3 sensors. So this sensor is on the front porch. This sensor is on the back porch, and the reason I did that was because sometimes, especially in the afternoon with the sun beating on the back of the house, you get a kind of a false reading. So you kind of balance the two. This third one is in the basement, and then this is the indoor temperature and humidity. So the Machines downstairs are reading near 70% humidity. This is reading almost 80% humidity. This sensor is effectively right underneath where we're standing in the kitchen. So it's right in the middle. The dehumidifiers are on the far ends. So we'll keep an eye on this over the next few days and see if the dehumidifiers do their job. Quick update on the dehumidifier. It's evening, sun's going down. Our dear friends are starting to wander through. I'll see about 15 or so. And let's see what this shows us. So 73 degrees, temperature stayed about the same down there, but the humidity has dropped to 55%. Very rarely has it gone down that low. So things seem to be working. I'd still need to get the hoses hooked up, so we'll do that first thing tomorrow. Let's wrap up the dehumidifier project. I've had the machines in the crawl space for the better part of 2 weeks now. Finally got the tubing and the drainage right, so the sumps are taking all the water. In the past 5 days, I've collected the better part of 40 gallons down in the crawl space and have been working to keep those empty until I get sump pumps put in. So lessons learned from that one. I would say if you're doing a modular house, due to the concrete not having enough time to dry thoroughly, I would seriously look at having the sump pumps put in at the same time that you're doing everything else, and get dehumidifiers down there. Crawl space humidity is right at 41%, so those things are going to start cycling and cutting out. So I think we're in pretty good shape. We're going to call that project done. I'll get the sump pumps put in. Not that big of a deal. So they said you learn a little bit every time you go. Have a great one. We'll see you next week.